They're bigger than ever on television. I don't have to tell you, you watch them. 45 million Americans watch soap operas every day, sometimes all afternoon. And the soaps are changing. Tom Hoving tells us that they're getting more and more real and a lot sexier. Tom?
Hugh, and a lot goes on behind the scenes. I found that doing this report, the fundamental secret to writing and producing today's soap operas, real ones, the ones that appear during the day and never end, is that you can put anything you want in, any subject you want, just as long as you drop it into a family situation, and then let it happen very slowly. For example, any type of heinous crime, corruption in government and business, murder and assorted mayhem, diseases of the body and the mind, all of them, not just temporary amnesia anymore, and adultery, seduction, and a lot of kisses. Done very slowly.
Radio is where soap operas were born over 50 years ago. They were primarily about women, for women.
Once again, we bring you the romance of Helen Trent, who sets out to prove for herself what so many women long to prove, that because a woman is 35 or more, romance in life need not be over.
What will be the dramatic aftermath? Has Stella herself given Gilda the opportunity she wanted? Well, don't miss tomorrow's chapter of Stella Dallas.
Soap operas were originally designed to sell soap. That's how they got their name. But what do you think they're selling here? Or here?
The best night of my life.
You're not about to give yourself away. You want to be taken.
Or even here?
All right, I like that.
Please.
Let yourself go, baby.
I'm in the largest and newest television studio in Manhattan, a converted armory on West 66th Street. It's nighttime and relatively quiet now, but in just 8 hours, with the help of 35 technicians and $250,000 worth of scenery, this place will be transformed into Landview, a comfortable suburb on Philadelphia's main line. And Landview is the home of One Life to Live. It's a minor miracle, really, to think that 1 hour of television drama can be created in just a single day.
2020 spent a day behind the cameras of One Life to Live, following every step of production. We will look at Pat Ashley entering Asa Buchanan's hotel suite from the first rehearsal to the finished product. 7:30 a.m., the studio basement for a dry run. Jacqueline Courtney and Philip Carey are still learning their lines, about 15 pages of script. Norman Hall, the director, is telling them where to move and how to play their roles.
Here, why don't you say, please sit down and take a coat, throw it up on the chair up there, and then she'll sit here and you'll wind up there.
Needless to say, if there's anything
They get just one crack at this. There are 12 other actors to rehearse, 100 pages of script to be brought to life. Next, wardrobe and makeup.
Oh, that's incredible.
10:15 a.m. The first rehearsal on the set is for the cameras.
Okay, would you go to opening positions, folks, please?
There are over 500 camera shots to learn. Only a little over an hour in which to learn them. 1:30 p.m., dress rehearsal, the last chance to iron out any artistic or technical problems.
3, 2, and music. Go.
Music and sound effects are added.
Ding dong.
And Pat Ashley is making her first entrance without a script.
Thank you for seeing me on such short notice.
2:45 p.m. Last minute notes from the producer and the director.
Yeah, the opening should be a little bit more expansive. A little bit more. I mean, you were a little bit coming on to her, you know. And music.
3:15 p.m. Time to tape. In less than 8 hours since first arriving at the studio, the show, as they say, must go on. And this is the entrance as it looked on air.
Pat, come in.
Thank you for seeing me on such short notice.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You sounded very distressed on the phone.
Well, as a matter of fact, I am distressed about something.
Sit down. Let me get your coat.
Thank you.
Needless to say, anything I can do will be done.
There are currently a dozen soap operas on the networks. The oldest, Search for Tomorrow, has been on for 29 years, a long time for a medium not noted for longevity.
And now, like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
But the networks have learned the secret of turning soap into gold. According to advertising and network sources, soap operas cost up to $400,000 a week to produce. But they say, while an average soap does make a profit, a top-rated soap can gross up to $1 million a week. To remain successful, soap operas have kept their basic formula. They are still centered around a family enduring a never-ending series of crises skillfully contrived to keep you tuned in day after day, year after year.
But many things on soap opera have changed. They are certainly more elaborately produced now, and there's more action these days. And soap opera is increasingly turning to the real world, not only for melodrama, but also for some of the more serious contemporary problems. Until about 5 years ago, soap opera existed in the never-never land of the writer's imagination. It could have been anywhere, but it was really nowhere. But that was before a soap opera came along that broke all the rules.
This is the opening of Ryan's Hope. As you can see, it takes place in New York City. The main characters are Irish and Catholic. They are no longer average middle Americans. They are three-dimensional characters whose lives are rooted in the quiet drama and extravagant melodrama of contemporary urban life. This is Ryan's Bar, just like any of the 3,000 neighborhood bars in New York. And this is the Ryan family, or what's left of it. If that scene reminded you of The Godfather, how about this? To keep their ratings high, soaps often borrow from hit movies. On the big screen, a scene like this lasted a matter of minutes. But on Ryan's Hope, the poor heroine was in the water for 3 whole days. And here is a soap opera version of one of Hollywood's most durable heroes. On the screen, King Kong got only a few minutes with Fay Wray. But on Ryan's Hope, it took the gorilla 5 episodes to get the heroine to the top of the tower. And with a little help from slow motion, 2 more days for her to fall.
Soaps have finally left the studio for the outside world. More and more they're shooting on location.
Jorn Winther, producer of All My Children, now works outdoors as often as possible.
What we did, we went out and created Pine Valley. And we took the actors out and we had them shopping, we had them looking at windows, we had them mowing the lawn, we had them walking in and out of houses, we had them driving cars, and we took them outside the 4 walls in the studio. I mean, they have the actors doing the mundane things in life, and it makes them real.
I think there's something over here that you might like. What do you think?
To guarantee high ratings, soap operas keenly reflect the interest of their audience. And as the public has become more involved in contemporary issues, so have the soaps. They now tackle subjects that would have been taboo on television just a few years ago, like this story of a boy with Down syndrome. Agnes Nixon, creator and writer of All My Children, explains why she chooses subjects like this.
This marvelous forum for teaching. We must first, of course, entertain, but I did realize that we could do some public service and dissemination of information that would be good for the public. And the first thing we did was the Pap smear test for uterine cancer. And it was so effective in terms of response from the viewers that I was hooked.
Today, soap operas are even used for psychotherapy. Here at New York's Metropolitan Hospital, patients use the human problems and passions of soap opera as a focus for group discussions relating their own lives to the lives that they see on screen. Soaps today are most definitely in, More and more magazines exclusively devoted to gossip about soap stars crowd the newsstands. And a syndicated soap opera column is carried in 164 newspapers in the United States and Canada. Soaps are so big, in fact, that recently 6,000 men, women, and children tore themselves away from their television sets to come to Woodfield Mall, America's largest shopping center in a suburb of Chicago, to see their fantasies in the flesh. Michael Storm of One Life to Live is here in person, where he can not only be seen, he can be touched. During any 1 week, 55% of the women in America watch soap operas, and 15% of the soap opera audience is now men. Watching one's favorite soaps can become a way of life.
I start at 10 in the morning, and I watch till 4 in the afternoon.
I've rearranged my schedule so I work at night, so I can see soap operas during the day.
We all get together and we eat popcorn and we watch them together and we really get into it. I mean, it's like our own life. I mean, really, I know more about them than I know about myself.
From Midwestern malls to Eastern Ivy, the place Cap and Gown, an exclusive eating club at one of America's most exclusive universities, Princeton. It's now lunchtime, and what do you think is going on inside? That's right. You guessed it. This scene is duplicated at Yale and Harvard and college campuses all across the nation. Princeton costs almost $9,000 a year. Soap operas they get for nothing.
I watch soap operas mainly as a nice, relaxing, mindless part of the day.
Somehow it's just a little addictive.
I watch soap operas because they make my problems look very small. If I have thesis problems or class problems, all I have to do is turn on Ryan's Hope and watch someone have an abortion, or someone be on trial for murder, or having an affair with their best friend's husband, who also happens to be their stepfather from another marriage. It makes Princeton life look pretty manageable.
At more and more colleges across America, soap operas are not only watched, they are studied in courses in sociology, communications, drama, and in this course on television criticism at the State University of New York at Buffalo.
We know that the subject of sex and love is a big one in soaps.
And getting bigger all the time. Today, soap stars are asked to play more and more scenes like this. A great way to make a living, or is it? We asked the experts.
The crew loves it. They stand around and they very much get into it. But it's a job. First and foremost, it's a job. You get in and you're going to do a love scene, and that's what it's about.
I wore a pair of slacks on the show today that it's like the price you pay for being a sex image. Tight, so tight I had to watch the way I sat. Blouses so low cut that you have to make sure the boom man over your head, the guy who's checking out the sound levels and doing the sound and everything, doesn't slip a peek at something, you know.
I was a prostitute, $100 an hour prostitute call girl for about a year.
Take off your clothes and put it on. That's all you have to do. And the gown and the money are yours.
John Michael Reed follows the soaps from bedroom to bedroom in a widely syndicated newspaper column.
There's always been sex on soap operas. It's always been implied and suggested in the past. Now it's more, generally, more explicit.
Oh, Wally, you're hurting me. Now you're crushing me.
Please, please.
No.
Please, just let me a few more minutes.
I mean, they're very careful about how much they show, but they get fairly raunchy.
Right on this car.
We see much more aggressive action.
You want to play games, baby? Come on, come on, come on. Where is all your noise now, sweetheart?
But it takes more than just acting ability to play these roles.
I have been told by a few people that I am
that I do represent a sex object on the show. It simply has to do with something to do with the way I was born.
You have to eat.
It's nice work if you can get it, and you can get it if you really try. We watched a group of actresses try out for the role of Ann Tyler Martin on All My Children.
Have I told you lately that I love you very, very much?
Well, not for at least 3 hours.
Well, I do. Thank you, my darling. Have I told you lately that I love you very, very much?
Well, not for at least 3 hours.
I do. Thank you, my darling. Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you lately that I love you very, very much?
Not for at least 3 hours.
Well, I do. Thank you, my darling.
And this is the actress who got the part, Gwyn Gillis. Some actresses are just too heavy for their roles, as in this scene which never made air. This is an attempted bathtub suicide from All My Children. What better place for soap than a bathtub?
Please. What have you done yourself?
Soap opera. If you don't watch one at least once a week, you're now a member of one of America's newest minorities. And if you can't get off during the day, don't worry. More and more soaps are appearing at night. Will daytime soap operas successfully invade prime time? What will this do to the career of Tom Hoving? What will this do to the ratings of 2020? For the answers, stay tuned.
Well, thank you, Tom. Next, the testing controversy.
A high flyer heads for a new balloon record, and the Marines land at Central Park. All coming up next on Eyewitness News.
News with Doug Johnson and Ellen Fleischer. Mike Barry with the sports, Spencer Christian with the weather, and the Eyewitness News team.
Good evening. One of this country's most famous landmarks may have to get some extensive repairs. 2 men are accused of assaulting the Statue of Liberty with a protest climb and a sleep-in that officials say caused $80,000 damage.
By a score of 6-2. You watch them here. They play cat and mouse back and forth with the ground strokes. McEnroe up, Gerolaitis with the point. Here is match point. Watch this. Blank McEnroe 6-love, third set to win $100,000 first prize, a neighborhood duel between 2 lads from Queens. New York Cosmos win big winners today. They beat the Memphis Rogues 4-0. Giorgio Canaglia did not score a goal, but Julio Romero did. He got a couple. Cosmos record now 6-2, and that keeps them solidly in first place. 30,000 fans braved a steady rain at Yankee Stadium this afternoon, but it was undoubtedly worth it. The Yankees blank Minnesota 5-zip. Tommy John tamed the Twins 6-hitter, his 6th win of the year, and it was his 3rd shutout as well. Watch this action here. Yankees opening the scoring. We are in the 2nd inning. Zahn delivers. Nettles, center field. This scores Rick Cerone, scampers around 3rd. 7th inning now. Willie Randolph. The ball has eyes into left field. Stanley scores. Yankees lead 3-0. Next man up, Rupert Jones. He goes the other way through the other side of the infield. Brown scores. Randolph scores. 5-0 Yankees. Tommy John picked up his 6th win of the year, his 9th in a row over 2 seasons. And recently, Tommy John told me that winning is certainly a lot more fun than losing.
Clubs. In fact, I played on a ball club with the White Sox who lost 106 ball games. Losing does not build character. It makes it tough to come out to the ballpark. Winning's fun, and when you can go out and enjoy the game and win at the same time, then you have the best of 2 worlds.
It was also raining in Montreal this afternoon, badly enough to force the Mex Expos doubleheader to be called off. They'll reschedule the games later.
That's it for now. I'll be back with Gil Noble for the next edition of Eyewitness News at 11:15. I'm Doug Johnson. That's who I am. Good evening.
Next on Channel 7, ABC World News Tonight, I'm Ellen Fleischer. Have a nice evening. Got it all out quickly.
Eyewitness News is the New York area's #1 news presentation.